Our Vegas fantasy is not what you think. Or is it what you think by this point? Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome to Our Vegas Fantasy, the Week 9 edition. We're more than halfway through the season.
No, say it ain't so.
It's almost over.
At the end of the year, we should bury the fantasy football.
I think we should. That's our last burial
Yeah.
after the year. So, I'm Kenny Davidsen. My friend Christina Shaw is in the house.
Hi, Kenny.
And it's the trade deadline, and we are recording literally 1 hour after the trade deadline. I know they say not to timestamp things, but we might as well talk about it because it just came and went. How about that?
I wowoke up to the best news ever.
Eagles fan, talk about it.
Golden Tate traded to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Look at that.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So what do you think? What does this mean for everybody on the Eagles? What does this mean for Tate?
The Eagles need it.
Okay.
The Eagles really need it. It's a great move for them. He's a solid receiver. They got him for a third-round draft pick. So I think it's amazing. I think we really needed it.
All right.
Don't you agree?
Listen, if you're an Eagle fan, I love it from a fantasy standpoint. I don't love it for Tate. I don't love it for Zach Ertz. I don't love it for Alshon Jeffrey, and I sure as hell, now Nelson Aguilar, you can cut him.
Yeah. Were you really playing Aguilar anyway?
No,
Exactly.
I was playing him in a deep league this week, and he got me, I think, 9 points. But no, you probably didn't have Aguilar on your team. It doesn't. It's not a big downgrade for any of them. It's a minor downgrade for them because now they're sharing the ball. It is a huge upgrade for Kenny Golladay.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
For Kenny
huge.
Golladay.
I don't think Ertz will be affected by it.
But Ertz's target share and Ertz's target level right now was at a level that's pretty unsustainable. So I think it dips a little bit. He's still probably the second best tight end in football behind Kelsey.
Yeah.
Right now, I wouldn't worry about it that much.
No.
But it does take a little bit of a hit. For Tate, though, who we've been Mr. Reliable with him, that's the big one. I'm not sure what to think of him.
It's going to be fun.
The Eagles like to spread the ball around. Right now, the Eagles don't have a running back that you can use in fantasy at all.
No.
Not one.
We'll talk about that later,
Yeah,
too.
we're going to get into that.
But Wentz is just such a better quarterback than Stafford.
Yeah, he is, and he's playing better. Stafford's pretty good. But it's again, though, it's still, there's only one ball. You only run 60 plays a game. So there are definitely things that get hurt by this. But Golladay and Marvin Jones stock up.
Yes,
very, very good.
Who I both
And as long as we're talking about trades, let's go. Demaryius Thomas gets traded to the Houston Texans.
for a 4th-round draft pick in return.
So where does that go for Demaryius Thomas? You own Demaryius Thomas. Are you happy about that?
The Texans need help at wide receiver, especially with the season-ending knee injury to Fuller. So I think it's going to be good for Thomas, hopefully.
Yeah, I do too.
Because he wasn't getting anywhere with Sanders.
No, Sanders is the guy in Denver.
Right.
And now Cortland Sutton becomes the second receiver in the Denver Broncos. Demaryius Thomas takes the Will Fuller spot in Houston. I do think Kiki Kute, who was going to be the hot waiver pickup, is not so hot right now. But we'll get into that a little later on too. And then how about Ty Montgomery after his horrible fumble? How he takes the ball out of the end zone when he's instructed to not take the ball out of the end zone. He gets shipped off to the Baltimore Ravens today.
They're like, tis, tis, here's what happens now.
Right? That kills Buck Allen. If you still have Buck Allen on your team, he's no longer relevant.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You think Ty Montgomery is going to do better?
No, but I think he takes the role. I think he takes
Yeah.
Buck Allen's role. It's not about him doing better.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, Alex Collins is the same. I do think this helps Aaron Jones. It helps Jamal Williams if you're still holding on to him. Mm-hmm. But I think it absolutely helps Aaron Jones, who had a 62% snap count this week. His highest snap count of the year this week. So that's a big deal for them. So big news. And if you're also interested in defenses, Clinton Dix is now a Washington Redskin. Right? How you like that?
We were just talking about him the other day.
Yeah, we were mentioning him. So Green Bay sends their best safety to Washington. Washington gets a little better. So, all right. Well, how did you do this week?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so we do have a show.
All right, fine. I went 1-3.
Yeah.
I should have went 2-2.
2-2.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Because Tom Brady crapped the bed. Wow. No touchdowns for Tom Brady cost me my fantasy football game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
How about you? How did you do?
I was disappointed because I was favored in 18 leagues and I only won 12 and 12. I had so many players that killed me this week. Like I could literally do an entire show on the Who Crap the Bed segment for my teams alone.
And my teams too.
Yeah. We had some really, really rough performances this week. This was easily my most disappointing week, despite the fact that I'm still even. And despite the fact that I'm still alive everywhere, but I'm also like, none of my good teams are winning now. So all of a sudden, like, I got one team at 7-1, I got one team at 6-2, and then everybody's 5-3 and 4-4. I only have one team at 2-6, and everything else is 3-5 and better. Yeah. But I'm like, every team is mediocre. Yeah. That's not good either. Like I would like to have a definite contender.
Well, hopefully we can, both of us can sneak in the playoffs and then just dominate in the playoffs with all these trades and all these injuries. Now we have players emerging. Hopefully it will help us, Kenny.
That's the idea, right?
That's the idea.
Well, before we get to who killed our teams this week, good this week, Deshaun Watson. What a week. Five touchdowns for Deshaun Watson. Do you own Deshaun Watson anywhere?
I don't, but I know you were worried about his health. And we had some start-sit questions earlier in the week, and I decided to sit Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Because of Deshaun Watson's injuries, and that wasn't too good for me. So.
No, he had a great week.
Yeah.
I still lost on the week on the team that I had him, and he had 30 points. I had him and the next guy we're going to talk about, James Conner, on one team, and I still lost that week.
Jeez.
How do you like that? Because because of the players that got 1 point from me. You wouldn't believe. I have 3 players on the team. So I have Deshaun Watson and James Conner who got 30 points. Do you have James Conner anywhere?
No, I don't.
Right. So I have James Conner in 5 leagues, and we still have to talk. We don't even know what's going to happen with that. So I have them on one team, but on that same team, I have Kenny Galladay 1 point, Jordy Nelson 1 point, David Njoku no points, and I lost.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted.
Trey Burton 3 points.
Yeah, he had a rough week.
He had a rough. There's so many crap the beds.
Yeah. How about Adrian Peterson?
He looks like a new man, Mr. Adrian Peterson.
You don't have Adrian Peterson.
I do not. I stayed away from him.
Well, we buried him.
Yeah, we did.
Right? I think we buried him before the season began. And now he's on the fantasy highs. The only place where you can come back to life is on this show. The zombie, Adrian Peterson.
Oh, my goodness.
Good grief.
You have him, right? You had to play
I got him in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting him. And now, first of all, start any running back against the New York Giants.
Right.
Any running back you have. Mm-hmm. Start me if I'm playing against the New York Giants. I'll get 100 yards rushing.
Just like me, starting against the tight end.
Start him. Right. Exactly.
Starting against Tampa Bay.
Seriously, I don't even know who the Giants are playing this week. Oh no,
the Giants are on bye.
Giants are on bye, so they can shore up their defense and get slaughtered in week 10.
Yeah.
But Adrian Peterson just runs rampant on the Giants. Sammy Watkins, what a week he had. Right?
Biggest day this year.
Right?
Biggest day he had.
And Tyreek Hill bumped himself. We don't know what the extent of the injury is, but Sammy Watkins could become a big deal this
could be a starter this week. He also suffered a groin injury during the game, too, which is a little... We have to keep an eye on that. I'm sure I don't trust him.
I don't trust him. He can never stay healthy. They're in Cleveland this week. Marvin Jones Jr. on just about everybody's bench this week went off.
Yeah, definitely on my bench. On your bench, too?
I have him in one league. It's a 14-team league. I have to start him.
Oh, so you got lucky.
Because my third receiver on that team is Keelan Cole.
Yeah, right. You have to
start so I had
Marvin
no
Jones.
choice but to start him, but that worked out well.
Did you win? Did you win that one? That's good.
And that was a league I was actually underdog by 20 points. So I had 3 leagues where I'm big underdogs and I won. I had 3 leagues where I'm big favorite and I lost.
Weird week. Very weird.
Very odd, disheartening week in a lot of ways. And now... Who crapped the bed? Did you crap the bed? Did I crap the bed? Did everyone crap the bed? We all want to know who crapped the bed. Crap the bed!
Gronk got out of bed finally.
He did?
Yeah, thank goodness.
He kind of still crapped the bed in the game. But he did at least get out of bed.
But he did, he got out of the bed.
But, I feel like we have a Tampa Bay Buck on this list every week. Our producer Ken Bulkey is a very forgiving and suffering Tampa Bay Buck fan. So in his honor, Jameis Winston crapped the bed. 4 interceptions.
4 interceptions. He's had 10 interceptions in 4 games.
And he goes back to the bed. Because Fitzmagic is back.
Yes. I kept singing that song all day.
Good grief.
What a mess.
I'll tell you what. I have a league where I have Jameis Winston and Drew Brees. And I started Winston over Brees. And Winston was the early game, right? And Winston gets pulled. And I'm like, oh my God, how stupid am I? I started Winston over Drew Brees. You know what? It was the right move because Brees was worse.
Oh, really?
Drew Brees crapped the bed. Drew Brees, 110 yards. 110 yards passing for Drew Brees.
Oh my God. Kenny is very heated this episode of Our Vegas Fantasy.
I'm disturbed. I'm utterly disturbed that Drew Brees threw for 110 yards and they won, which is not good for fantasy. It's good for the Saints.
Well, it was all defense, and they got really good field position.
And running game.
Right.
And Kamara with 2 touchdowns. Right? So Drew Brees craps the bed, and that killed me in. We're going to talk about that, the league that killed me in. Isaiah Crowell, the only running back left on the New York Jets, crapped the bed.
Finally gets a shot. Finally. Only one in the backfield. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, no, that's a shocker.
Everyone
right there.
played him, I'm sure.
Shocker.
I played him.
Yeah, well, I would have played him this week if I had him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
Well,
right
maybe
there.
he'll have a little bounce back week because they play Miami this week, so
No, maybe.
hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit him.
No, I wouldn't sit him.
Can't.
No, and Miami's run defense is putrid.
Right,
So yeah, you're right.
Putrid.
Putrid. T.Y. Hilton crapped the bed.
He needs to rest his hamstring, I think. I think his hamstring injury is really bothering him. So going into this bye, hopefully it will help him.
Yeah, and the perfect week for the bye. Now their running game all of a sudden got good. Marlon Mack, what a week he had.
Everyone was getting the ball.
Right?
Everyone but him.
Scored 42 against the Raiders. They actually look decent, the Colts now.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat 2 crappy teams. Let's put it in perspective. They beat the Bills. They beat the Raiders. But,
Andrew Luck
trending
is
up.
solid.
He looks good.
He really does.
I'm really happy for that. I'm happy for that for
Yes.
us, for fantasy. I'm happy for that for him.
Right.
I'm happy for that for the Colts fans. I'm glad that Andrew Luck is back and playing and looking good.
Look, yes.
Very happy
and
to see
throwing
that.
down the field.
Yeah. Now, Amari Cooper gets traded. We all thought Jordy Nelson would do something. 1 point! Crap the bed. Jordy Nelson. Really?
The Raiders' offense is just so unreliable. You don't know who's going to get the ball, what's going to happen. It's just frustrating. I feel like we talk about Jordy Nelson every single week. What do we do with Jordy Nelson?
I'm done with Jordy Nelson.
You're done with him.
Yeah, because I don't want to. He's become like Deshaun Jackson. He's become that guy that I can't stand. The guy that's going to have a week with 150 yards and he'll be on my bench, and then I'll put him in my starting lineup and he'll get 10 yards.
Yeah.
I can't stand players like that. I
Yeah.
don't want players like that on my team.
Maybe wait until he gets a little bit more consistency.
Maybe, but Jared Cook just became the number 1 receiver on that team for sure.
Yeah.
With that trade. You know who got all the targets for the wide receiver? Brandon LaFell.
Who?
Yeah, right?
Who? Is he still alive?
Apparently he is. He plays for the Raiders. Because if you're 35 and over, you become an Oakland Raider.
I feel like that's the trend of this year. All these really old running backs and receivers are just like coming back from the dead.
And
think about it.
And playing for the Raiders.
Think about it.
Right? Doug Martin playing for the Raiders now.
And not just for the Raiders. I mean, in general.
Yeah.
Frank Gore.
Oh, yeah.
LaFell.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Well, Fitzgerald had a good week. He came back this week.
Right, but he's still ancient.
Yeah, he's ancient.
I mean, there's just so many. Peterson.
Adrian Peterson, you're right. People that will not go away in fantasy.
That are actually doing well.
Yeah. Now, the guy who killed me in 3 leagues this week, I'm putting him on the Crap the Bag segment. He killed me. David Njoku. Utter crapping the proverbial bed. 0!
0 targets.
0!
Wasn't even targeted.
I don't even know what to do.
The good news is their head coach and their offensive coordinator were both fired.
Yes.
So hopefully that's a good sign for him.
The Cleveland Browns are still the Cleveland Browns.
Sorry, Eric.
Oh, my God.
So
what
bad.
a mess.
I feel really bad for their fans. I literally messaged my friend Eric and I was like, I feel really bad for you. It almost feels like, because I know how it felt, because I'm an Eagles fan, and for the last 20 years of my life that I've watched football, I have never had a championship. We've always got let down every year. And now it's finally like, we had the Super Bowl and it was a lot, we won the Super Bowl. Now it's a little bit better, but I feel for him and it's so sad. Like, and there's not even hope moving forward. That's the sad thing.
There's one little bit of hope, and his name is Baker Mayfield.
Right. And that's it.
But he hasn't looked good. since his comeback win against the Jets. He's getting, he can't handle a blitz. I mean, he's a rookie, so you get that. But they need a whole new regime. I actually think in the long run they did the right thing. I mean, Hugh Jackson was a joke. Todd Haley is outdated. Frankly, they need to make some changes.
They need to rebuild, and as the Philadelphia 76ers always said, trust the process.
That's right.
So you got to rebuild and start over, Browns. You can do it. We have faith in you.
Yeah. What the hell do we do? Let's go as we talk about crap in the bed. For the second straight week, we're still going to ask this question. What the hell do we do with Jordan Howard?
I don't know, Kenny. I don't know. I have Jordan Howard in 2 leagues, and I don't know what to do with him anymore. He's like that redheaded stepchild that you just don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Man, we're getting rowdy on this show tonight.
This was a frustrating week.
This is an emotional week.
This is an emotional week. Very emotional. Right? And he's touchdown dependent now. And Tariq Cohen has become the favored running back on the Bears. So what do you do with Jordan Howard?
I don't know, because I feel like, again, with Jordy Nelson and Jordan Howard, we just don't know what to do with them, and it's so frustrating.
Maybe just any player we name Jordy and Jordan.
We just kick
them aside.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't know, and every week, and now I'm, Deion Lewis was on bye last week, but now I'm faced with the same problem every week: Deion Lewis or Jordan Howard.
Oh, I'd probably go Deion Lewis.
I
don't know. I mean, the thing is, though, Jordan Howard has gotten in the end zone the last 2 weeks.
Right, and that's...
So if he gets in the end zone, he saves your day.
Right.
But you're relying on that.
Up until the third quarter?
Yeah.
And then he just, falls in the end zone. You're like, oh, thank goodness, I got a touchdown out of him. You don't know. Because it was him or Jalen Richard that I was going to play, and I decided to go with Howard. And during the game, I'm thinking, oh, my goodness, I should have played Richard. This is before Richard played, obviously.
Right.
And then he got the touchdown. I was like, oh, thank goodness. They ended up scoring, I think, about the same points. I think about 14 points they got, each of them. I still lost, but I didn't make the wrong decision. But it's just one of those things every week. What the heck do you do?
No.
You just don't know.
I think if you have other options, it depends what your options are. That's what it is. But you can't cut him. And you can't really trade him.
Nobody wants him.
Right.
He's too inconsistent.
If you have Aaron Jones on your team, now you're doing handstands because he had a great week and they just traded Ty Montgomery away. So I think you're actually doing pretty well with your Aaron Jones.
Yeah, it's looking up for him. Season high 12 carries. Looks like he's taken over that backfield. So
and we talked about if you have Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones before we didn't know what to do. Now you're doing handstands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I traded for Golladay in a league about 3 weeks ago. I traded Chris Thompson for Golladay.
Nice.
I think that's going to work out in my favor.
Nice. Golladay will bounce back from that trade. It's sad that since the week 6 bye, Golladay has only been targeted 3 times.
Yeah, unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he was just such a force of reckon on that team, and now it was just like this roller coaster with him. I feel like now it's up again. Hopefully it's good.
But who is now the go-to receiver in Detroit? Who's going to be the guy? Who's the slot guy? I mean,
from this week, Marvin Jones, but from season long, Golladay.
We hope.
I hope.
I hope too. We don't know.
I mean, Galladay's the future of that team.
Absolutely.
Marvin Jones is halfway.
Although they restructured Marvin Jones' contract today, so they're gonna hold on to Marvin Jones. But Marvin Jones is kind of the number 2 to Galladay. Not this past week. Marvin Jones was right. Right. Again, we don't know. We really don't know what we're going to get this week. Marvin Jones could be the number 1. Galladay could be the number 2. I cannot see Galladay having another 2-target week. I can't see that
at this point. No.
No, it's if he doesn't have 8 targets this week, then you're just pulling your hair out with Kenny Galladay. And we were just talking about the Raiders. If you have any Raiders on your team, good luck to you. Just good luck. You know what? Who I want on my team? If I for the Raiders, I want Jared Cook on my team, and I want Jalen Richard on my team.
What do you think about Martavius Bryant?
I think he's cuttable.
Yeah,
and he'll go off for 100 yards on your bench, but you'll never get it right.
Yeah, I was hoping he was gonna emerge. I had Will Fuller on my bench, and of course, I dropped him, and I was like, who can I pick up just for fun? Let me just pick up some random person, and I picked up Martavius Bryant in hopes.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't.
He didn't start him, I hope.
No. I just picked him up just to see.
One of my wins this week, somebody started Bryant against me.
It didn't work.
5-0. No, I got 0.
But I mean, it could have.
But again, we just talked about
Right.
there's nobody that's reliable. I think the only two people that are reliable on the Raiders are Jared Cook and Jalen Richard. Mm-hmm. And frankly, Doug Martin. But Doug Martin is not catching passes. So you're looking at like 8 points from Doug Martin every week.
But he's still the featured back.
He's the guy.
Right.
Absolutely. But, I mean, he's 8 points. I would have rather picked up Richard. I made a mistake because I had the option to pick up Martin or Richard. And I put the Martin almost everywhere over Richard. Because Martin, I thought, was going to get more. Martin is getting way more snaps than Richard. But Richard catches passes.
Is Richard an every week start? Or is it matchup? Or is he matchup?
I think he's matchup, but, they're playing the Niners this week. They're playing the Niners on Thursday. I mean, I'd put him in. I'd have him in there.
I have a start-sit question with him in it, so we'll talk to that too.
Waiver wire. The waiver wire just completely changed because of the Demaryius Thomas trade. Cortland Sutton is available in 13. No. He's owned in only 13% of Yahoo leagues.
Jeez.
That's going to go up to about 60 tonight, if not higher.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton will not be available after tonight. You were going to go get him. If you have priority, if you've got money in the Fab leagues, spend it on Cortland Sutton. Clearly the number 2 receiver in Denver, behind Emmanuel Sanders, and great opportunity for him. What do you do, Kike Kute?
Kiki, do you love me?
Do you love me? So, here's the thing with Kiki. One, battling a hamstring. Might not play this week. They're on bye next week.
Yes.
And they just traded for Demaryius Thomas. So, you running to go get QT on waivers
I
now?
actually already have him.
Okay.
Because we talked about him a couple weeks ago.
We did.
He was a hot pickup a couple weeks ago.
I think he was dropped because he wasn't playing so well the last couple of weeks.
I held on to him.
Yeah.
I held on to him. So.
I think it's because you held on to him. I don't know what he may not play this week and then he's on bye next week. So you may not get any value on him till week 11, and we don't know what sort of target share he's going to get with Demaryius Thomas there.
And that's the
Demaryius Thomas is older. I don't think Demaryius Thomas can do what Will Fuller did anymore. I don't think he's that receiver anymore. And I think QT is still going to have value. But I wouldn't now. Before I would have spent a lot of money on him, or I would have spent priority on him. Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to hold on for him for 2 weeks, especially with the next 2 weeks and the buys that are going to, there's 6 teams on buys this week.
Yeah, and he may not play this week. So
if you don't have the roster spot, I don't recommend it. If you have a thick roster, maybe grab him and hold on to him.
Yep. DJ Moore, rookie from the Carolina Panthers, broke out this week. Finally got played because Torrey Smith was not playing. Do you grab DJ Moore?
Here's the thing with DJ Moore. There is going to be a lot of inconsistency with him. I don't get the DJ Moore pickup. He had his best game this week. I don't know. Not saying that it's a fluke. He does have a good matchup with the Bucks, and the next week, Pittsburgh, which is also a good matchup for him. Okay. But I just don't see it. I don't trust him. Let's say that.
He's been a lot better lately. He needs Torrey Smith to be out.
Right.
He needs Jarius Wright to be out. But maybe he starts playing over those guys. I do agree with you, though. I think he'll be inconsistent.
He's not a top for me.
But the talent level with him is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It depends how they use him.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like on a better team, on a different team, he would be better.
I'm still taking a chance on him. I want him rostered.
All right.
That's how I feel. I wouldn't start him yet.
Right.
But I want him rostered.
I agree with you.
For sure.
Okay.
Devontae Parker back from the dead.
Another one.
Right? He's not even 30, though. He's a kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right? But we haven't talked about him all year. Mm-hmm. Over 100 yards receiving against the Houston Texans.
Miami's another team. They're just all over the place with the ball.
Yeah.
They just throw to everybody. Every Parker, you think Kenny Stills was going to do great this year, and he crapped the bed all year.
Yeah. Parker's a better receiver than Stills.
Well, yeah, but
I agree. I thought Stills would have a better year than he's having. Some terrible year.
Yeah.
Are you picking Parker up?
Wilson's on IR. Stills is probably not going to return yet from his injury. I don't know if I could get too excited about him because the biggest play that he had in that game wasn't even intended for him.
Yeah.
He just got lucky.
He did. Again, I want him rostered. I don't trust him. He pulls up with injuries. Literally, he gets a hangnail in the second quarter of a game, and he's done.
Yeah.
And he's out for 5 weeks with it. I don't trust him. But, again, he should be on a roster. I just don't know if I want to deal with him.
Right.
Josh Adams, your Eagles. You want him?
In the backfield in carries and rushing yards. They're on a bye this week, but the backfield is just all over the place. Yeah. I don't know if I can trust between him, Smallwood, and Clement, with Sproles hopefully coming back soon, which I thought he was going to be back last week. I was wrong about that.
That's true, and Sproles could come back. That clouds that.
There's just
up.
so many of them. You don't know where the ball is going to go. Is he worth a waiver wire pickup? Do you think he'd be there after midnight?
Yeah, he's an after midnight guy. I don't think he's picked up this week. I don't think, especially with all the other waiver pickups.
And on the bye.
Yeah, no, I
he
don't.
He might be a nice, if you have a roster spot, an after midnight pickup.
I agree. Totally. He's a good after midnight guy. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to the after midnight specials, but I think he is. He's a good after midnight special. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wouldn't run to the waiver wire for him. How about Jack Doyle? There's a surprise. Came back and played great this week.
Yeah, I like him. I'm glad he's feeling better and he's back. It's just a little scary with Ebron back there too,
I think it's scarier for Ebron, though.
Yeah.
And I have Ebron in so many leagues. Ebron barely got 20% of the snaps this week.
Yeah.
That's scary to me.
I definitely watch that closely.
Yeah.
On who's going to get most of these targets.
Doyle got it this week.
Yeah.
Doyle is still their guy, more than Ebron is. No, Doyle is definitely a pickup if he's on waivers. Now they're on bye, so you might be able to sneak him in.
Right.
But yeah, you should get Jack Doyle on your team after midnight. So Well, wait a minute. Is that a sexy chord?
Yeah.
That's not that sexy a chord.
That was the chord for the starter sit.
That is the starter sit chord. I played the starter sit chord. We're tired today, folks.
And frustrated.
But it is, it's after midnight on a Wednesday morning, Tuesday night. And you're looking for
a good time.
Looking for a good time. You're looking for a player. That player this week is Anthony Miller.
Oh.
Wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. Probably not going to get picked up on waivers. But Allen Robinson's fighting an injury. And he's their young, ascending wide receiver. And he had a good week. Probably should be on your roster. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. Will he still be there in the morning? We'll see.
You'll see. I would go get him.
Anthony Miller?
Yeah,
with Allen Robinson inactive.
So,
worth a shot?
I picked Anthony Miller up on Sunday morning. And I put him in with the Allen Robinson news because my opponent had Allen Robinson. So I decided I'm going to play. And I actually had Chris Hogan in that slot. And I didn't want to play Chris Hogan. And I didn't want to play Marquise Goodwin. And so I picked up Anthony Miller and I played him. And he did well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that. Now, Goodwin almost did what he did, but Goodwin had one target. It went for 55 yards and a touchdown. But hey, once in a while I make one of those brain fart moves that actually worked out in my favor.
What do you think about Devontae Booker for an after midnight?
Ooh, wow. That's a good one.
Or Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, I mean, if you're desperate for a running back, yeah.
If you're desperate?
Yeah. He doesn't catch passes, so you keep that in mind.
He's splitting that backfield 50-50, and you have a 50-50 shot with it. If you're desperate, you got a bye week that's, real thick this week. If you're desperate and you need somebody and you don't want to spend fab budget or waiver wire, it's worth a shot in the dark.
Yeah, I might pick him up. There's a league where I'm desperate. I might pick him up. Devontae Booker, I think that's tied to Royce Freeman. If Royce Freeman's out, Devontae Booker is absolutely a play. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He had a good week this week. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's but if Royce Freeman's healthy, then no.
Right, so we don't know.
That's what it's tied to. But, yeah, after midnight special, why not? Roster him.
Yep.
Because you might get lucky. You might get Freeman still out of there, and then it's a good idea. And now it's time for Are You F***ing Kidding Me?
Kenny! We go through this every week. You're not allowed to curse.
Well, bleep it out.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Ken.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for
Yes. You say it too. You
I
know.
do.
You know you feel it.
So what happened to you this week?
What happened to me this week? I was favored in 18 leagues. So this is the thing. Too often, we look at these projections, and we think that we're better than we are. And we're just not that good. Projections can lead you to just like, oh, I'm fine. And like, your team's just not as good as you think it is because they overrate it on whatever site you're using. So, I'm thinking I'm going to win going away 18 leagues. I win 12. You know?
Have you won 18?
My best week is 16.
Okay, so you even haven't won that many yet.
No, I thought I had it for sure. But that was not the case. Yeah.
Do you want to hear mine?
Oh, I absolutely do want to hear yours.
So, in our New York League, with which I am in with Kenny, I was down 17 points, and I had Tom Brady. I'm thinking, 17 points. Tom Brady can get that with his eyes closed. I lose 110 to 116. Are you f***ing kidding me? I blame Trey Burton.
He didn't do well for you this week.
I blame Trey Burton.
Yeah, but Tom Brady, he didn't really crap the bed. He threw for 300 yards.
Right.
He didn't throw for a touchdown pass. And then as you see Devin McCourty taking that pick six back, you know it. You know you're done.
Yeah, I know I done.
You know you're done. Right?
I needed one touchdown pass.
I can't believe that.
One.
And in that same league, with that last Julian Edelman pass, I lost by 0.3 points.
Oh my goodness.
Are you
kidding me?
You know who I blame? I blame Drew Brees. Because Drew Brees threw for 110 yards and a touch.
Kenny, I think this might be my favorite show of all time.
No, this is like the anger show. This is the angst edition of our Vegas Fantasy. Where we're 8 weeks into this, we're exhausted from not sleeping. Well, maybe I am.
I think we're gonna have to turn Kenny's mic down this episode because Kenny has been yelling.
I'm mad.
In anger.
I'm a frustrated player this week.
Oh, this is
I'm a
so
very frustrated
fun.
player.
How's it feel, Kenny? Sucks, doesn't it?
Drew Brees killed that team. I lose by 0.3 points.
That's pretty bad.
I'm 4-4. I have 3 leagues that I am the second highest scorer in those leagues, and I'm 4-4. How is that possible? Second in points, 4-4.
Kenny, it's called luck.
Yeah.
I can't wait to our final argument. I've been writing things down. Kenny and I have this discussion every year if fantasy football is luck or skill. This year, I have carefully been planning out my argument, and it's going to be epic. Mm-hmm. Start writing notes, Kenny Davidsen.
Okay.
It is going down on our last podcast.
You know what? I'm still 3-5 and better in 23 of my 24 leagues.
All right.
All right.
All right.
My rosters are still pretty stacked.
All right. We'll see how they do at the end of the year.
We'll see how they do at the end of the year. But, look, there's some luck. We know that. But,
yeah.
Jeez. And now, a new segment on our show. The classic Kenny Davidsen Overthink of the Week. We need a song for this one, don't we? I think you need to sing.
I need to write a song.
Kenny Davidsen Overthink of the Week.
All right.
Because I overthink everything. You think with 24 leagues I wouldn't have time to overthink everything. No! I overthink everything. And this is what I did this week. So, I have Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram is a distant 4th now in the pecking order for the Giants behind Barkley, Beckham, and Sterling Shepard. He's 4th. And the only touchdowns he gets have been garbage time touchdowns. CJ Uzomah was playing...
Uzomah?
Uzomah.
Uzomah?
Is playing the vaunted Tampa Bay Bucks defense. The Tampa Bay Bucks defense that cannot stop a tight end to save their life.
Yeah, which we talked about last week.
So I dropped Evan Ingram for Uzomah on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And Uzomah gets a 0!
But it was the right move.
I think it was the right move. And Ingram... didn't do anything until garbage time.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. In fantasy, garbage time counts. Mm-hmm. It does count. I still think Ingram is not a good tight end now this year. As long as those 3 are healthy, as long as Barkley, Beckham, and Shepard are healthy, I think Ingram is distant 4th. On a team that can't pass the ball.
Yeah. Can you pick him back up? The good thing they're on their bye this week.
I might be able to pick him back up.
So you might be able to...
But I thought Uzomah was a good play. I already have Austin Hooper in that league, and Austin Hooper was on bye this past week. Now I'm going to play Austin Hooper going forward for the rest of the year in that league. But I would like to have Ingram back on my bench. I did end up winning.
Well,
I found a way, but I got lucky. I was in trouble.
Yeah.
The rest of my team showed up.
all right.
But I was as of Sunday night when we were playing the show. I was going into last night. I had Edelman on that team. So here's the league. Here's my thing. I had Edelman on one league, and I was against Edelman in the other league, and I won with the Edelman and with the league that I have him, and I lost by 0.3.
Jeez.
Literally 0.3. If he's 3 yards shorter,
my
I win both of those.
goodness.
What are you gonna do?
You
Edelman
may-
had a big night.
See, with that stuff, like I understand you're overthinking it, but with that kind of starter sit, you just don't know what's going to happen. And you made the best decision that you could possibly make. That with stats and with everything, you made the right decision. You
agree.
can't help on what is actually going to go down.
No.
The best you can do is make a decision and live with it.
I was fine with it till the
Right.
fourth quarter because Ingram was doing nothing.
Right.
And then Ingram got a garbage time touchdown. Like the only other touchdown he has this year was in garbage time against the Cowboys.
And if he didn't get that touchdown,
he would have had 4 points.
Right.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been as egregious an error.
and you still won, I don't think it's...
Listen, I still overthink things every week and I gotta stop. I'm gonna say that all year. That's why we're gonna have a segment about my overthinking.
I'll write a song. It's Wednesday night. Who should you choose? Make the right choice so you win, not lose. Starter sit, starter sit, starter sit. Yeah.
It's all about the glissando.
It's all about the glissando. What do we got, Kenny?
We got our friend Scott Teeple, who sent in a question.
Oh, hi, Scott. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Keenan Allen, Emmanuel Sanders, Sammy Watkins, Greg Olsen. He already has O.J. Howard as his starting tight end, so he can put Greg Olsen in his flex. Who are you starting out of those?
So here's what I think. Watkins is all over the place. Olsen has a great matchup, so I'm going to say Olsen and Sanders. But it's hard because can you really sit Keenan Allen?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
I say Sanders and Olsen.
Well, he's got to pick one, but he also could put Olsen as his tight end and sit O.J. Howard. And I might do that this week.
All right.
Olsen against Tampa, who can't stop a tight end to save their life.
Right. But look what happened to Njoku.
No, you're right. But Njoku against Tampa was fine. It was Njoku this week against Pittsburgh.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no. So I would say
Uzomah. That's what I meant.
Uzomah got hurt. He got hurt in the first quarter, then he played, and he only had 4 targets.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's because Tampa stopped him. I think he just had a bad day. I would still consider Olsen. The one guy, I'm not sitting Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah,
I'm especially not sitting Emmanuel Sanders now.
You can't. No.
I'm not.
So, definitely Sanders.
I don't trust Sammy Watkins. I never will.
No.
I just never will.
No, he's a definite no.
I'm not a Sammy Watkins guy. Now, Sammy Watkins could go off, especially if Tyreek Hill's not going to play this week. Sammy Watkins could absolutely go off. I don't know. I don't roster Sammy Watkins. I don't have Sammy Watkins anywhere. I can't stand the volatility that Sammy Watkins
Exactly.
has. I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting Emmanuel Sanders.
No.
Now, the other question he had was, does he start O.J. Howard or Greg Olsen? I think going forward, O.J. Howard is a great start every week. He's a great tight end to have every week. This week, though,
Against Tampa
I
Bay.
highly consider Greg Olsen.
I agree. I think Olsen and Sanders and sit Howard, Allen, and Watkins.
But Howard going forward, absolutely.
Yes. Olsen this week, Howard next week.
Especially with Fitz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And Cameron Brate, you can put him aside.
Yes.
Yeah. I got one. Start 2 of these 4 for one of my leagues. The league that I lost by 0.3 last night. Jordan Howard, Mark Ingram, Alex Collins, Aaron Jones. Start 2.
I'm going to say Collins and Howard. I say Howard because he plays the Bills. Ingram, they're playing the Rams, which is kind of rough. And Aaron Jones also has a hard matchup against the Patriots.
I'm absolutely going completely opposite of what you just said.
Really?
Yes.
You're going to go Ingram and Jones.
Because the over-under in the Rams-Saints game is 60, and the over-under in the Patriots-Packers game is going to be 60. I want players in games where there's going to be 60 points scored. I want those players on my team. I want those players starting.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they just traded for Ty Montgomery. I don't know what they're going to do with Alex Collins now. Absolutely. And Howard, we just talked about Howard. I'm not playing Howard if I don't have to. I won't deal with it. I'm probably going Ingram and Jones. And Jones showed up this week. So
that's so hard.
I'm not sitting Aaron Jones now. Aaron Jones is, and again, I also want the talent. And those two are the two most talented.
Yeah, and Howard is kind of hard to trust right now.
Right.
Damn.
Collins, I understand, but now they just traded for Ty Montgomery.
Yeah.
I don't think he cuts into Collins that much, but I don't know if I want to deal.
And he was just traded. I mean, do you think Ty Montgomery is really going to have this huge impact this week?
Yeah, maybe not.
No.
But I don't trust Collins. I trust Ingram. Ingram plays every week. We know that. And again, there's going to be massive points scored in that game this week.
That's a hard one, man.
Yeah, it's hard. It's no doubt. There are no obvious decisions, but I think that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning Ingram and Jones.
And, I mean, there's a 60-point, like you said.
Yes.
But is that really going to help a running back?
Yes. I want players
players.
in games with his points scored. That's what I want.
All
when
right.
I'm starting him for fantasy.
That's
want
a
players
hard
like
one,
that.
man.
Yep. So, what else you got?
All right. I have one from Eric. Greg Olsen or Hooper?
This week, Olsen.
Yep. Because of Tampa Bay. I agree.
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Olsen.
That was an easy one for us. Yep. And then pick 2. This is on one of my teams. Pick 2. This is for a flex and an either running back or wide receiver position that I can switch, flip-flop. Jalen Richard, Deion Lewis, Chris Hogan, or Jordy Nelson?
Well, for one, it's not Chris Hogan.
Right.
That we can get rid of him. I'm not picking, despite the fact I just told you I want a player that's in a 60-point game, but I'm not picking the 5th option on that team.
Right.
And he's the 5th option on that team. I don't want that.
Richard.
God, Nelson is so tempting because they're playing the friggin' 49ers
I
this
know.
week. Oh, God, but I can't trust Jordy Nelson. I would go Lewis and Richard.
Put it in my flex?
Yeah. I'm not loving it.
Put Deion Lewis in my flex?
Yeah, I'm not loving it, but I'm doing it. I'm hopeful that the Tennessee Titans are going to come out of the bye and Mariota will be healthy and that they'll play better. I don't like that they're playing the Cowboys this week. That's a crappy matchup.
Yeah.
They also could be playing from behind, which is good for Deion Lewis. But I'm not starting Chris Hogan.
I know. It's hard.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't. And I don't know if I can start Jordy. I don't know.
Right now, I have Jordy Nelson in.
You also can't start Nelson and Richard. Well, you could against the Niners. You could.
I don't want to start 2 Raiders.
Well, there you go. Then it's Richard or Nelson. So you're starting Deion Lewis. There's your answer. You're definitely starting Deion Lewis, and then you're picking between Richard and Nelson.
I think I'd rather take my chances with Richard.
I agree. I think it's for Lewis and Richard.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Yeah.
That's all I got.
And to end this very emotional episode of Our Vegas Fantasy, it's a double funeral.
A double?
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in memory of Will Fuller and in memory of Bilal Powell. Say it, Christina.
Bilal Powell.
Will Fuller. You just can't stay healthy. We love you, but you can't stay on the field. And now you tore your ACL and you're on IR.
Too soon.
And they trade for Demaryius Thomas. So who knows where you're going to be. Will Fuller, may you rest in peace. And Bilal Powell, the very unappreciated, underestimated running back for the New York Jets.
Bilal Powell.
Might actually be the end of him. Actually, a bad neck injury, in all seriousness. May he rest in peace.
Why?
It's one of Christina's favorite names.
Bilal Powell.
Bilal Powell. The word to say is going to make a full recovery. So thank goodness for that. Hopefully he'll be back next year.
Sad.
It's very
two
sad.
Two players.
Too
and
soon.
last week we were saying we don't have anyone to bury this week, and we didn't.
We didn't.
Now this week, double dose of burial.
Yeah.
So sad.
Last year would have been a way bigger year for burials than this year has been. It's been a little better this year. We've had a few, but it's not been egregiously horrible this year.
Well, we had some rule changes, so that was nice.
Yeah, we did. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode, this very emotional episode of Our Vegas Fantasy, the trade deadline episode. Please, as I'm hoarse
from screaming,
so emotional. Please download us on Spotify. Please check us out on YouTube. Type in Our Vegas Fantasy. Share us, rate us, and join us next week when righteous brother Bucky Hurd joins us in studio.
Oh, yeah.
A diehard Atlanta Falcons fan and a great fantasy football player.
It's going to be fun
We're gonna
next
have
week.
some fun with him next week. I'm Kenny Davidsen.
And I'm Christina Shaw.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.